Whenever you want to handle implicit intents, you have to declare intent filters. Now, those intent filters are simply advertisers. They say what action, category, or data the particular activity or service or broadcast receiver can handle. For example, you have your activity A. You say you want to send an email. So what are you going to do? You're going to create an intent object that has some action, some category, and some data. Now on the other side, you have your email activity. Now what it does is it defines an intent filter where it defines the actions, categories, and data that it can handle. Alright, and now your package manager accepts the intent which you sent, which is on the left side. You can see, for the example, the apple. It compares the action, category, and data requested by you through the intent with the action, category, and data inside the intent filter, and if they match, then that activity is called, and that's how your email activity gets called, through implicit intents. So I hope you guys have understood what intent filters are now. Intent filters are on the other side of the picture. You send an intent, and that intent gets compared by the intent filter on the receiving side to check if it matches. If it matches, then that activity or service or broadcast receiver is called. Otherwise, bam, nothing happens. So like I said, an intent filter describes what action, data, or categories that the component can handle. They are mostly defined inside your manifest file. Now for each activity or service or broadcast receiver, if you want them to handle implicit intents, you have to declare intent filters, because that's the way they are going to be compared, right? And next, you define what intent can be handled by that component, right? And then what do you write inside an intent filter? Well, you write one or more action to indicate what are the different or possible actions that your component handles. You write categories to define what categories you support, and you write data to indicate what data types you have. Now matching for action, category, and data is different. Alright, we are going to talk about how each of them is matched with the definition inside the intent filter in detail in the upcoming videos. But for now, all you need to remember is that some sort of matching occurs between the intent that was sent by the user from his activity with the activity that is about to be called, right? So now let's actually talk about how your package manager works with activities and services. You have this activity. When you install it, you're going to have to define an intent filter to the package manager. The package manager is going to read your intent filter and define what actions, categories, and data that your activity can handle. This happens for every app that you install. Every app, all the activities, what are the intent filters they have, what actions, categories, and data they can handle. This list is maintained by your package manager. So now here's the question it has: how many activities or services does the app have, and what intents can be handled by each activity or service? Now this data is managed by your package manager. Alright, so now when someone says that I have an intent with this action, this category, this data, can you do something about this? The package manager is going to take that intent, it's going to compare it with the list of activities and the list of services it has, and check the intent filter for each with this information. And when it finds no one, it says no apps can perform this action. When it does find someone, it's gonna start that activity directly. And when it finds more than one person who can handle that intent, then it's gonna go ahead and give you this list where it says complete action using A, B, C. So this is what your intent resolution process is all about. This process is actually called intent resolution in Android, and I hope you guys have understood what intent resolution is. This is only for activities and services. Broadcast receivers have a different way of dealing with the same thing. Now let's go ahead and see how broadcast receivers work with your package manager. So if you remember, broadcast receivers are nothing but they are people who respond to events, right? Your battery goes low, your airplane mode was turned on, your network is unavailable, all these kinds of notifications. Whenever your system generates notifications like that, your broadcast receiver handles them. But it doesn't mean that you can't generate notifications. You can also create your own notifications and let broadcast receivers handle them. For example, you can say something like Facebook profile updated, and the broadcast receiver can do something about it. So here there's a simple example. There is a system notification that comes up saying the battery is low, only 15% remaining. Now that event is converted into an intent object with a specific action, category, and data, and that is given to your package manager. Now what your package manager is going to do in case of broadcast receivers is that it's going to call every broadcast receiver whose intent filter matches the action, category, and data that your intent has generated, right? that is the action category data on the left side, which was generated inside your intent, and the broadcast receiver on the right side, whose intent filter matches with it. It's gonna call every broadcast receiver like. So this is all about theoretical aspects of implicit intents. There are still a lot of things I haven't discussed about, but I believe that as I go ahead, I'll talk about each of these things in detail. Again, remember one thing: the way your action gets matched, category and data differ from each other. Alright, so I hope you guys understood something out of this vid. If you like what you saw, please subscribe to my channel, comment, let me know your thoughts. I would love to hear from you guys. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys later. Have a nice day.